So I wanted to talk to you today about starting independent activities in the math class. This is some pointers if you want to start math workshop or small group instruction and want some independent activities that students are working on while you're working with a small group. The first is a recommendation: practice everything whole group, a whole class. That's where you want to do whole class. If you want students to learn a new game, whole class will help you out with that. So you can practice whole class so everyone knows your expectations. And you do this multiple times so that everyone knows what to do when they go to that independent activity. And part of that whole class is to rehearse, for students to rehearse what to do when they don't know what to do. So if you're doing a math crossword, how do they access manipulatives to help them with a task? Or how do they grab a math dictionary to help with a definition they're unfamiliar with? So what should they do if they're stuck? Sometimes teachers, because what you don't want kids to do is to go where you're working with a small group and interrupt you. That's what you don't want them to do. So some of the procedures you may do, I've seen teachers do C3 before me. And that means check with 3 other people in your class before you come and talk to the teacher. And this is something that needs to be rehearsed and needs to be practiced. Another one of my favorite ones that I've seen teachers do is the 3 Bs. And this was actually really cute. A teacher had her rules in her class was that you don't interrupt me unless it's blood, barf, or you have to go to the bathroom. And that's were her 3 Bs. And that was actually pretty well done. I was in a grade 1 class, and it was really neat to see those kids really only interrupt her for one of those three reasons. And as you're practicing those behaviors, remind yourself that procedures have to be practiced until they become routines. If you don't follow through, and sometimes this is more training for the teacher than it is for students, you need to be repeating the way you respond to situations in the same way over and over. Because don't forget, it takes a minimum of 21 days to learn a new habit. This is if you want students to do any rotations or grouping or anything. It takes 21 days for a new habit to be learned. So give yourself some time. It probably won't work the first few times you do a task. But maybe you're looking for some ideas for what sorts of activities to do to start out independent activities. I'm going to recommend 4. The first is doing anything with memory or concentration. That's also called like matching. So you have a deck of cards and you match 2 things, and if they match, you take that turn. And you can see plenty of this all online. And I may also do a video on how to play that and how to set up your own decks. Additionally, anything digital like Khan Academy or SumDog, that can definitely be independent work. And so procedures for how to log in and how to get to the website, those would have to be rehearsed. Number of the day is also a strategy I like students to do little by little. Some students may take 5 minutes, some students may take 10 or 15 minutes, but this can be something they can practice and do independently. And the last is tangrams. I kind of love tangrams for students to practice with their spatial reasoning, going from grades 1 and up. For grade 5 and up, though, I would make sure that the puzzles you have aren't the same shapes as the pieces, so that students have to use some proportionate reasoning to help with their spatial thinking. So that was just some ideas on how to start some independent activities in your math class.